Marine as we get into game 1. Grant, who is our first player today?
Our top player representing France. He is the Protoss player in the red. He is currently teamless. His qualification run was actually very, very impressive. He cannon rushed Goblin a lot. Oh no, that was someone else. He cannon rushed someone. But he is ShaDoWn.
Nice. And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side, our Russian player representing Starcom Gaming. Russian, oh god, he's not Russian, is he? Is he Ukrainian?
Russian. Oh.
Okay, thank God.
Wait, I'm checking.
I always screw up the Russian Ukrainian players, and they always get so disappointed with me when I do that. He is Russian, thank goodness.
Okay. We did it.
Our Russian player representing Starcom Gaming, it is Braddock.
Oh, I forgot to do camera stuff.
How could you? On my introduction.
Late. I did it late. It worked. Okay, so TVP. This is our first... Oh, no, we had a TVP earlier today, didn't we? Did we? What was our first series? I've completely...
Lambo Rail. So that was a TVP. This is our first TVP today.
Yes. Okay, so we are seeing what seems to be a standard opening here from ShaDoWn. He is going to go Cybernetics Core, Expansion, Gas. Pylon, Gas. And then he will open with either an Adept or a Stalker and use that to defeat the Reaper that does come across. The probe has come across. That's probe's purpose was to slow down the expansion and make sure it was an expansion. But, is he going Reaperless? Oh, he is. I like it. Okay.
Reaperless opener from Braddock. That's fantastic. Do you say Braddock or Braddock?
I say Braddock. I think that one's right.
I say Braddock as well, but always the chat is always there to yell at me for getting the player names wrong. Chat cares more about the player names than the players themselves too.
Yeah, for sure. Should we start calling Cyril Cyril and just do a whole series?
Let's get that started. Anyway, Reaperless opener from Braddock, which is really exciting. We don't often see Reaperless openers going for the double Marine production immediately. That tells us generally that Braddock wants to hit pretty hard and pretty fast with a little bit more production than normal, a little more of a gateway army than usual. The factory, of course, down behind it as well, and that should be a decent counter to whatever comes out of this Twilight Council. Are you feeling Glaives? You feeling Blink? What are you feeling out of this Twilight Council?
I think to start game 1, we will see Blink out of ShaDoWn. I think it's the most... It's very optimal. You can go Blink, you get a Robo. I saw him play a little bit of Parting's 4-gate Blink from the GSL, where he gets very aggressive. There we go. There is the Robo. So it's going to be Blink with a Prism. And now, is he going to add on a couple of extra gateways, or is he just going to stick at 2 or 3? I'm very intrigued to see what happens. Meanwhile, our Terran player is going for that Tech Lab very quickly onto his Starport, or onto his, oh my god, onto his factory, and a very fast 3rd CC here from Braddock.
Yeah, this is really exciting. Do you follow the blog Terrancraft at all, Grant?
No.
Oh, it's
I feel like I'm missing out.
You definitely are. If you're not following Terrancraft, give that guy a shout out. Max Yu is a phenomenal. He's a scholar, and I'm not sure if he's a mathematician, but he's an incredibly smart guy who does a lot of work on, especially Terrans, but a lot of stuff. And one of his most recent articles was about early command centers and what technically qualifies as an early command center for Terran players. And he basically, if I understood the article correctly, broke it down into 2 different categories. Sometimes there are builds where it's like genuinely you go out of your way to get an early 3rd command center, which is what we're seeing here. Some other builds, you get a 3rd command center and it seems early, but that's only because of the way your build fits together, and like you just happen to have 400 minerals at that point, so you build an extra command center. But I believe, unless I'm mistaken, this one is an actual early 3rd CC here out of Braddock, and he's going to try and get some serious economic advantage here, skipping that starport and just getting a tech lab on the factory to crank out a couple tanks. This is a really solid build from Braddock. Look at all the army that he's got on the map already. Look at that unit counting station. 10 Marines, 2 tanks at 5 minutes in. That ain't bad.
My one concern right now for Braddock is this is what I said it is. It is Parting's 4-gate Blink build. This piles up so fast. The Chrono, once Blink is done, goes into the gateways, and you're just going to be producing Stalker after Stalker. The early tanks are very, very good for this, but if they get blinked on, this will absolutely snowball, and ShaDoWn will take a quick win. I saw him do it against... I really wish I could recall which Terran player it was, but he did take a very, very good win. It was someone very good too, where I didn't expect him to win.
Maru.
Oh, it's Maru, yeah. But look how many Stalkers there already are. These are Stalkers with Blink, and there's going to be 4 more every few seconds. Every 15 or so seconds, 4 more Stalkers. Now, as I said, tanks is the best answer to this, and that's the second best answer, a missile turret. Because you cannot let him blink in on the tanks. He's going to take down the missile turret and take a couple of pot shots for his favour. Gets a cancel.
Man, I think Braddock probably could have saved that missile turret. We saw ShaDoWn retreating just a little bit early there. He's going to drop down one more missile turret. You're absolutely correct, though. The missile turret going down is a huge win. He already picked off the Observer, by the way, as well, which is another big win for Braddock there. The Observer on the high ground going to allow the Stalkers to blink in and not make the Warp Prism be in danger. There is a drop in the main base as well. The Warp Prism's gone around with 4 of those Stalkers. 3 SCVs going down right now. The Warp Prism, though, not activating. I think he's just going to try and keep these Stalkers safe. And as soon as the Marines get here, oh, look at this, though. Braddock coming around the west side, or the east side, rather, going to try and trap this Warp Prism in. And I think ShaDoWn might actually get caught in the main base here.
Yeah, ShaDoWn's entire purpose here was to keep his opponent back because he's hard transitioning right now. He's trying to buy as much time as he possibly can. Ooh, what an alpha! He's hard transitioning. He has a third. He's getting extended thermal lance. He wanted to try and keep his opponent back whilst he plays greedy on the other side of the map. I'm impressed and quite proud of ShaDoWn for knowing when this wasn't going to work. A lot of other Protosses, lesser Protosses, and I apologize if you feel you're one of them, would have walked in another 1 or 2 rounds of Stalkers there and kept going for it. That's the way Parting played it, is he just kept making Stalkers. But ShaDoWn goes, okay, he went for very quick tanks because he skipped the early Hellions and things. If there was just one tank, the game ends there. But there wasn't, and that ended up being very nice. Now, we do see another drop here. But ShaDoWn, as I said, he's just buying time. As soon as he gets upgrades, Colossi, Zealot Legs, this becomes a very different game.
Yeah, this looks really, really bad. If you're just watching on the surface, you're like, oh man, ShaDoWn's initial aggression failed. Look at that, his Warp Prism down to half health. He's lost so much, he's behind on army supply. But look at the bigger picture here, the income in his favor, the tech in his favor. The army composition going to be in his favor soon. He has held Braddock down on 2 bases. Remember earlier we were talking how I was going on and on about that 3rd base that Braddock was taking so early? Where is it, Grant? Where is his 3rd base? Why is it not down yet? It's great to have those extra tools, but he's simply not getting any additional income from that 3rd base. This
is wild. He went very fast 3rd CC, and it will now be done slower than a standard 3rd CC by the time it is activated and going. ShaDoWn has really controlled the pace, and look at his worker count.
65.
That's a huge number. He's soon going to be at 2 Colossi. There's been no Terran unit has been outside of the natural or the 3rd yet in this game.
Unbelievable. One thing I talk about a lot when I'm casting games is who's controlling the conversation, right? Because I'm a caster, yes. I always think about these games as a discussion between the 2 players. It's a talk. They're deciding between them who's going to win. And right now, ShaDoWn has completely controlled the conversation of the game for the entire game so far.
Oh my god, it's mech.
It is mech. 5 factories down. I was so busy admiring ShaDoWn's play that I didn't notice either, but ShaDoWn is going to see that scouting hallucinated Phoenix should get in. He should see, if we check ShaDoWn's vision, I'm pretty sure that he's seen the 5 factories down already. Yeah, he knows about the mech. So he will be responding with more Colossus. How do you feel about Colossus versus mech, Grant?
I think a couple are good. I think if you go up to 3 or 4, that's okay, but you need to transition into either Stargates or lots and lots of Archons. Archons actually don't, like, tanks don't hit Archons. They just don't. It just goes through them or something. They can take, like, one Archon can stand there and take, like, 8 tank shots and be fine. If you get a few Archons, that's very good. The other thing...
There's some very obscure StarCraft comic about that, I'm sure, where it explains in detail why the tanks' plutonium shells don't go through the Archons' Kala-infused energy armor. But I'm not a freaking nerd, so I don't know what it is. Anyway, I interrupted here. A little Hellion run by the 3rd should get cleaned up pretty quickly. Nice pull by ShaDoWn. But as you were saying, sorry, a bunch of Archons definitely needed. We don't see we do see a Templar Archives down, so he's going to be able to get those Archons out, hopefully sooner rather than later. What else does he need?
The other thing he needs to do is expand like mad, and that's what he's doing. He's already at 4 Nexi before 9 minutes. I'd like to see him take a 5th quickly. Just keep expanding. You know your opponent is playing a very heavy tank style. It takes him a long time to push and a long time to punish. So, it's very difficult for me because I see this style and I think instantly, if I see this, I'm going Stargate. I'm going to get so many Phoenixes, so many carriers, and I am just going to press A and I'm going to go and make a cup of tea. Army supply is very heavily in Braddock's favor.
It's not going to be Stargate. Look at what he's building right now. It's a Dark Shrine, boys.
Yeah. DT is very useful here just to counter. Oh my god. Right now, ShaDoWn cannot be losing units. He really needs everything. Does he have a super battery on this base? The battery isn't done. In fact, he's not even building a battery. And that's going to be difficult to hold this.
My god, Braddock going to move out. army. All the tanks sieging up here, and Hellbat's ready to go. That poor photon cannon didn't stand a chance. A single tank volley here. He's got the drilling claws, Widow Mines finished up. Even with the armory down, he's still got the drilling claws upgrade, so they can burrow a little bit more quickly. That's really interesting. And he's gonna start leapfrogging these tanks over. This fourth base for ShaDoWn is in real duress right now, and ShaDoWn simply doesn't have the army to deal with it. Losing in the mortal, his army's just sitting in the middle of the map because he knows he can't engage with his tank spread from Braddock. No disruptors, no archons. He's trying to morph in some charge lots, but that could just be land for the slaughter here. I'm a bit worried. Let's see if he can come in from both angles.
I really like ShaDoWn's plan. His plan there was to try and soak up a load of the tank shots while all of the Archons and Colossi get in the back. They're doing an okay job. As I said, you can see these Archons, their health has barely moved. They take tank shots and they just don't react. The real problem right now is going to be the Force. He doesn't have Immortals left, I don't believe. No Immortals left. And Force do a lot of single target DPS. You can see he's actually juggling in and out of the prism to try and keep it alive. This will be kind of cleaned up. But I do think now, look at the supply right now. It is so in favor of our Terran player who just sat back, got his mech army and made so much happen. That the only units the Protoss has right now is 6 Zealots.
Yep, just as Braddock got cleaned up here, his reinforcements came through. I mean, Todd, Luca, D, supply. There's simply nothing left. ShaDoWn on 1 army supply, staying in this game. Bless, as my friends in the South would say, bless his heart, he's trying.
Yeah, he's trying.
Yeah, as Mr. Meeseeks would say, oh, he's trying. The 4th base goes down there at the 12 o'clock. Braddock is on his 5th base as well. Units streaming across the map, 2x2, tanks of blue coming across the map right now for Braddock. And ShaDoWn, despite having a phenomenal opener to this game, was unable to adjust to this mech transition, and or this mech build, rather. It wasn't even a transition. Unable to adjust to this mech build, and Braddock just completely in command of this game. Now, ShaDoWn still a little bit ahead in workers. His income advantage has been superior for the entire game, but if we look at the resources lost tab, I imagine that's going to be, looking a little bit gross there for our Protoss player. Oh, goodness.
I have a question for you, and if you can answer it, I'll give you 10 Shroot bucks.
Oh, I love Shroot bucks. Hit me.
Why did Braddock go home?
Because he did the damage he wanted to do. DTs are out. He doesn't have any detection. Doesn't always scans on it. I think it's the right call, man. He's so far ahead. I think that's fair.
I think in terms of economy, though, like, look, the supply is closing. Immortal count is growing once again. There's 6 Archons already. There are a lot of Zealots, and they're pretty trash at this point in the game. If he gets this base in the top left, I'll definitely agree with you, and that does look like it's going to be the case. But I really think he probably could have pushed a little bit harder, or at least contained and stopped the expansion. I
mean, that's always the big question when you're the aggressor in a map, right? Cyclone's going to lock onto this Nexus, by the way. It will go down with these Widow Mines to defend and ShaDoWn way out of position. But you're right. That's always the question when you're the aggressing player. When you've made a successful attack, do you push to try and end the game, or do you sit back, macro, and rest on your laurels and try to win more? And I think Braddock made, either one could have been the right call there, but I think after losing his initial army and so many tanks, he probably just went back home and wanted to be like, you know what, if I'm going to win, I'm going to make sure I can do it later in the game. And we see it's probably going to be our last engagement here from ShaDoWn, trying to come in from 2 angles at once here, but with the Cyclones to morph these away, the tanks might go down, but the Cyclones should be able to clean up these Archons as they chase him down.
There are a lot of charge Zealots left over, but the reinforcements now coming in for ShaDoWn. He is going into that mass Cyclone style, which is so difficult to deal with. Archons will never, ever get a single shot in. Because they're so slow, they're so bulky that you can see they're just going to be kited infinitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we all learned in the TSL 5, the best part about Cyclones is you don't really have to worry about upgrades. So even though Braddock is a little behind on upgrades right now, with +2 and +1, he probably should be at about +3 to be even with ShaDoWn, who's going for +3. But it really doesn't matter for the Cyclones. The lock-on counts as a spell. So even with his upgrades being even, those Cyclones are still just going to be terrifying. We can see the Cyclones chasing down now. Blue Flame Hellions in the front. Scan on the DT goes down, and the Archons are all that's left to defend, and things are looking really, really bad here.
Oh, the Widow Mines!
Oh, that's going to do it. The Archons evaporating like cotton candy in the bathtub, and Braddock is going to grab game number 1.
Yeah, I really liked what he did there. His build was very good. I doubted him moving back, but then he sniped the base in the Never Eat Shredded Wheat northwest, and was and that was the last real efficient mining base there for ShaDoWn. So Braddock takes a very clean game 1. Mech seeming very good. You don't see a lot of Mech versus Protoss. Euferma would be so proud.
He's wiping away a tear of joy somewhere that he's influencing folks everywhere. Now I got a question for you, Grant, in between games, and this is important. You used Never Eat Shredded Wheat to determine northeast, southwest. As a British player, as a British human, do you like shreddies?
I don't eat cereal ever of any kind.
You don't eat cereal?
No, I don't really eat any breakfast at all. I'm not a fan.
I'm sorry, Grant. You live in the country that famously has the greatest breakfast of all time.
Okay. Can I guess what it is? Oops. Oh yeah, okay. I thought you were going to say cereal.
No. The full English is the greatest breakfast that the world has ever created, and I will fight people on this. And you live in that country, and you have access to that, and you don't eat breakfast?
Okay. If I've had a few drinks the night before, drink responsibly, kids.
Of course.
I will have a full English. 100%. Like, you go to like this is going to sound
you go down to the spoons.
You go down to a greasy cafe and you get the biggest breakfast you can. And to you people who aren't English, me saying a greasy cafe sounds bad. No. You go to the crappiest one you find. Yes, Wetherspoons is like heaven. How long have you been out of the UK?
Oh, a couple years now. I was last there in 2017.
Do you know Spoons now? You don't even go to the bar. You just use an app and they bring it to you. You don't have to move anymore.
God, that's amazing.
To clarify, guys, Wetherspoons is a pub chain, the biggest pub chain in the UK, and it's disgustingly good.
Oh, Wetherspoons, I miss it so much, where you can get a pint for a nickel.
Yep.
And a full English is what, £1, maybe?
Yeah, if that. I think they just give it to you these days. It's made of cardboard. You're probably eating horse meat, but you know what? God bless you, Wetherspoons.
Well, God bless our two players here in game 2 as well. I'm playing the game right now, Grant. I'm trying to figure out which observer number you are. I have no idea. I think it's 5. I'll start spinning. Yeah, it's number 5. All right. So in the bottom left-hand corner, our Russian player from Starcom Gaming, currently up 1-0. It is Braddock.
And his opponent trailing in the series, representing France, he is the red Protoss player, ShaDoWn.
All right, guys. Game number 1. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, 2 guys who have been around a long time. Braddock, I remember from like 2012, 2013, probably. ShaDoWn, I think 2015, sort of started to come into the scene a little bit. He was one of those upcoming French players. There are a couple of others who do pretty well, but never quite broke into the top tier of, the Clems, the Stefanos, the Marine Lords. I feel like I'm missing someone major. Petit Drogo, DNS, there we go.
Oh, French players, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But ShaDoWn was always just behind them, and he does well in online leagues, things like that. So I'm a big fan of both of these guys. They're old school, just like us.
Oh, jeez. Well, Grant, we saw ShaDoWn control game number 1 almost completely until that initial mech push from Braddock. He did so well with his Blink Stalker opener and really kept Braddock back home. He lost an awful lot, but of course he was able to get some significant bio behind that. What's he going to do here in game number 2 to make sure that he doesn't lose that advantage in the mid-game like he did last time?
First of all, I'm so proud of him right now. There's one thing, if you remember from the early game, that Braddock didn't make a Reaper. Now, the only reason you go Nexus after Cybernetics Core is because of that Reaper. This game he went for the Nexus first. So he goes Gateway, Nexus, Cyber instead of Gateway, Cyber, Nexus. That's going to speed his economy up a little bit, and I think he will mix it up. He went for that 4-gate Blink, and it was okay. It did some damage, and he transitioned out of it, but he transitioned out of it into a bio transition. And that wasn't what he ended up playing against. The Colossus, as we saw, really didn't do too much. This game, I expect him to say probably just play 2 or 3 gate Blink, expand, get your third a little bit quicker, get your upgrades rock and rolling. Ooh, this is nice. And just play with a little bit less pizzazz, a little bit more standard, and be ready for mech. I still think the right answer to mech is Stargate. You can do it with Robo, you can do it with Templar Archives, but Stargate is considerably easier because your opponent does sit back. You can just get carriers or lots and lots of Phoenixes. Like, I see, I'm going to say, Rotterdam is so good versus mech because of this, because he just loves Phoenixes and carriers and things like that.
Absolutely. And not only that, we saw ShaDoWn was pretty slow to respond last game, right? Didn't have his Archons out until it was almost too late. In that first initial engagement against the Terran, he only had, 3 Archons? 4 maybe, against 37,000 tanks. The Adept will shade forward here. We'll see these Marines trying to sneak across the map and maybe catch him by surprise, but he's already got the shield battery going down at the natural. Blink on the way. Robo about halfway done. Is is he going to go for a very similar Blink Stalker pressure in game 1, or do you think this Blink is a bit more defensive this time around?
It all comes down to how many gateways he adds on, because that determines how late his third is going to be. He's adding on 1 extra, going up to 3 now, if I am correct.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's going up to 3 gateways. I think 3 gateways is good. That 4 gateways, it really adds a bit. You know, you think 150 for the gateway, 125 for each extra stalker. You do 3 warp-ins, you're close to like 800 minerals that you've spent just by getting that 1 extra gateway. And this time it is just 4, and he's adding in immortals already. So this,
smart.
Yeah, definitely. This is exactly the sort of transition I wanted to see him make from game 1.
Yeah, my guess is ShaDoWn probably wanted to go with Warp Prism first, right, to get those Blink Stalkers and maybe reinforce for an early push. But instead, he saw that push coming from Braddock. Yeah. He saw Braddock moving across with the Marines. He saw that tank coming halfway with that Scouting Stalker with the Adept, and he knew, hey, there's going to be pressure coming early. Immortal out first, and that's going to save his bacon. And Braddock, I think, doesn't know about the Immortal first, but knows that he's been spotted, and that means Braddock's probably going to move back and just try and play it safe. Add on some more barracks. He is going bio this time around.
Yep,
a much safer play.
Yeah, definitely. I think going mech last game was very good because it countered the opening of his opponent. This time, his opponent has just opened, you know? He's not done anything mad. He does have 2 extra batteries, which, it's okay. It is some money you didn't really want to spend. But ShaDoWn hasn't done anything very aggressive. His macro is good. Look at the worker count. Like, this is a difference between going 3 and 4 gate blink. Ooh, this drop
but
is
this
nice,
drop in the main may have something to say about that worker count. Keep an eye on Braddock dropping in the top corner of the main there. As ShaDoWn moves across with some stalkers, we're going to see a lot of pressure coming up on both sides here. Braddock moving into the main and ShaDoWn trying to get some damage done here. Blinks out of those tank fires, but there we go. Braddock into the main now. Going to focus fire down some of those probes and forcing the probes off the line.
Yeah, nice lost mining time here. If he can get an Immortal or something, that'd be nice. No, he is going to be forced back. But a lot of lost mining time. This is a decent drop. He didn't really lose anything. And he bought himself time. At the other side of the map, as you said, ShaDoWn did nothing. Tank's very, very good against Blink. It's the best opening you could really have here. Stim on the way. Upgrades on the way. Is there any forges or forge yet? No forge just yet for our Protoss player, who I imagine will go for like a 730 double forge. Oh, he does have a forge. I'm just lying to you. Okay, so +1 is on the way. This is good. Yeah. I like ShaDoWn's position for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Again, we see him in a similar position to last game, ahead on workers. Not quite as much as last game, not quite as aggressively as last game, and behind on army supply. So 31 to 42, but his army already looking pretty good. Colossi going to be a much more standard response to bio play, which this observer will get in and just confirm, okay, I'm not getting mech'd again. Definitely bio again here in game number 2. Now, Braddock has seen this observer. He's trying to chase it down. I love it when a Terran player spots that observer.
It was really
snipe that. Get it. Yeah.
It was really cute what ShaDoWn did. What he tried to do was siege it so it was slightly more visible and then immediately unsiege. So if his eye didn't catch it, he would have thought it was in the exact same position, scanned, and it would have already gone. It's a cute little play. I like that. Now we do see Zealot legs coming in. ShaDoWn is setting up very nicely against Bio. Now, one thing is he will, of course, be down and upgrade the entire game because he is running off of a single forge. Usually, once the third is established, you'll add on that second forge. Some players don't. They do just run single forge constant chrono. But for now, it looks like so many gateways.
Yeah, total of 8 on 3 bases, which is not where you want to go, but there is a little skirmish coming down on the south side. Unfortunately, those gateways aren't going to be quite finished up in time. I'm a bit worried. I usually say that for Protoss players, you can't just build the fun units. You can't just build Colossi and Immortals and the stuff that sounds really cool and makes big exploding noises. You got to build the boring stuff too. You got to scrub in those gateway units with the rest of your army. And now that ShaDoWn's finally on 8 gates, he's pushed off that attack for long enough. He should be able to warp in enough units, get 1 or 2 more rounds of warp-ins maybe before Braddock hits here. But Braddock actually sieging up for a pretty aggressive push here.
This hasn't been seen. This has only just now been seen. Looking at Braddock's point of ShaDoWn's point of view, he had no idea this was coming. His observer was not here, and now look, he's going to lose 2 gateways, his gateway and his cyber core immediately. Luckily, the only thing he really will be making is zealots anyway. His stalker count is okay, and zealots are really what he needs to soften this up.
Braddock unsieged at the worst possible time here, and we're going to see ShaDoWn coming in all different angles. Braddock's tanks barely sieging up in time, but they're going to get a lot of shots off the zealots right on top of those tanks immediately. And I think Braddock might have enough gas in the tank though, with just these +1 bio units. Is he going to be able to push these back, or will ShaDoWn be able to warp it enough? Oh my gosh, it's so close here, Grant. It's so close.
Very, very close fight. Now, the scary thing right now is that Braddock does not have a third CC. He's down 19 workers. Math is so hard.
Math is hard.
And like economically, it is going to be devastating for him. He's using 600 less minerals a minute, plus 400 gas. ShaDoWn is going to explode. You can see now he's getting his Stormer facility, his Templar Archives. He's getting +2. He's getting more and more Colossi, and that he's just going to get stronger with time. Whereas I don't think Brattok is. Like, how much mineral? His main is starting to mine out. So right now he's mining unofficially from one base, whereas we have a fourth being taken here by ShaDoWn.
Grant, I'm going to start a Reddit post with a proposal. Petition to change the Templar Archives name to Storm Factory.
Storm Facility.
Storm Facility. That's it. Okay, Storm Facility. 100%. We're going to do that.
Definitely.
So it is going to be finished up here. Another Colossi getting scrubbed in. That was a great hold from ShaDoWn earlier. Braddock going to try and push in again here. There is only one shield batter here at third, a little surprisingly. But Braddock has not seen a fourth yet. And like you said, Braddock on 2 bases. He's in a really desperate spot right now. He's pulling all of his army across right now. Are these Liberators going to give him enough zone control to really end the game and make this push a deadly one?
I'm not certain. There's this thing that Protoss can do. And what you do is you press the hotkey of your necklace, you press B and you click on a battery. And then you never you win the game. It just wins the game for you.
Why don't more Protoss players do that? That sounds a little easier than I expected.
They're learning. It only works when you're being attacked. But is Blink done? Yeah, of course Blink's done. It was a Blink opener. There is a good amount of Stalkers. The angle is good. I mean, Colossi currently we are looking at 2. That's okay. What ShaDoWn is doing right now, excuse me, stumbling over my words, is waiting for +2. He doesn't really want to fight without it. It's so close to being done. He's going to pick off 1 Liberator and blink out. That's nice. Sure, he's going to lose a little bit here, but he's so ahead that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think Braddock has seen his 4th base yet either. If he had, he'd be going down south right now to take it out, right? Just focusing on the 3rd base right now. He will be in a bit of a choke point, but here we go. ShaDoWn gonna get on top, and I'm gonna try and do my best to make sense of this fight. Liberators are gonna go down 1, 2, and 3, going right down here, which means the Stalker weapons are successful. So all ShaDoWn needs to do now is bring in some more Zealots and try and push this army back, and he should be able to defend with aplomb, and Braddock knows it. GG. ShaDoWn grabs game number 2. A really good chess match there between those 2 players.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was good. I think ShaDoWn engaged like 5, 4 +2. It kicked in towards the mid and tail end of the fight and cleaned it up quite a lot. If he'd have waited a couple more seconds, maybe it would have been a bit cleaner. But he won. Isn't that what matters? And evens up the series, and we do get a match 3. Black pudding is a must. Oh, wait. More importantly, we're all talking about breakfast in chat. Black pudding.
So good. It's so good, Grant. How can you not love black pudding?
Oh, I do. I'm just reading it now, and I'm bloody starving.
Oh, I'm sure you are. You've been casting all day, my man.
I'm having a lot of fun, Creighton Olsen.
Grant, I got to agree with you, man. This has been I'm so excited that we're going to be casting. For those of you who don't know, Grant and I will be covering the DreamHack all week and maybe next week as well, depending on the scheduling. So we're going to be doing a fair amount of casting together, my friend.
Yeah, guys, if you want to see more of us next week, that is still up in the air, and we'll use this time to sell out. Tweet DreamHack, tweet Apollo, say how much you're enjoying it. Make a Reddit thread, please, love us. Because that is the way that we will get to continue. It is all based on feedback. Obviously, we're 2 people who are trying very hard, you more than me, to be very, very regular with our content and to make things happen. So, guys, that would be super nice, and we would love you. Thank you.
Just super grateful to everybody at DreamHack for giving us the opportunity to hop in and cover these. It sucks to call these B stream games because that somehow implies that they're like not good enough for the A stream. But as I've been tweeting for the last couple of days here, the B certainly stands for best stream because these games have been phenomenal. Like we said last game, a bit of a chess match here, and the 2 players really working hard on figuring out how to counter and what strategies to go for. The engagements were really solid on both sides. I'm so jazzed as we get into game 3 to see what these guys can come up with here and if Braddock is going to go mech again. What do you think, Grant?
I think it's going to depend on the opening of his opponent. I think he will go mech if reactively it makes sense. But I'm not certain. For now,
high IQ call.
Yeah, I think so. If I were to make a prediction, I'm going to say bio. It didn't work game 2, but I think it was potentially there. I think he just needed to be a little bit more aggressive. Like, there was no Widowmine drops. There was no... there was only really 1 drop, and it killed like 2 workers and a couple of pylons. He really didn't get much done throughout the game, and I think if Brattok just steps up his aggression, we'll be in for a much better he'll be in for a much better time if he can keep his opponent more honest, you know?
Absolutely. Well, should we introduce our players, or do we already know who we're covering today?
ShaDoWn and Brock, blue and red. There we go, sorted.
Done.
Done.
What a pro! What a pro!
What
I
a
love it.
pro.
I love it. Man, I hope I'm on the right camera again this time. It's so tough to tell which.
Spin it.
Is there a trick to know which one you are?
I think it's my position in the lobby before the game.
Oh, I should have paid attention. Can you rotate your camera real quick so I know which one is which?
Oh, we spinning.
All right, I got you. You're number 4. Rock and roll. Thank you. Terrible. I'm always worried I'm gonna be like, oh, look at this crazy fight, and your camera will be somewhere. You know, who knows where your camera's gonna be?
Yeah, I don't know where my camera's gonna be.
That's true. I'm the same way when I'm trying to observe. It's
the hardest job in the world
for observing and casting at the same time. It is very difficult to pull that off. You're doing a great job today, my man.
If you say to me who is the most talented person in StarCraft, I go Mapu every time. He makes observing an art form, and also he's funny, and he can drink some beer. And
that's the proper British lad's way of deciding if someone is a good human or not. Is he good for a laugh, and can he drink a beer? You're a proper lad there, Grant.
You know, I'm too old for that, Creighton. I'm too old.
Never for a pint. I've seen 105-year-old farmers when I used to tend bar in the UK. You never grow out of it as a British person, surely.
Of course, we don't condone drinking alcohol here on Twitch, but after this game, I certainly will be having a soft drink with the flavour of hops and barley. So what's happening in this game? Twilight Council once again. It seems that we have very standard openings. It was Reaperless, so we did see the expansion before the Cybernetics core, and I'm really impressed with ShaDoWn for doing that. So many players, they have their early game where they go Gate, Cyber, Nexus, Pylon, Gas, but reacting to a best of series and saying, okay, he doesn't make Reapers, fine, then I will cut a corner too, it truly warms the cockles of my heart.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. He did go Reaperless. Braddock did go Reaperless in game number 1.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
That was the game that went mech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll go for that again. That'd be really surprising. But this time he's already swapped over. I think in game 1 he kept pumping out Marines.
It's gonna be mech.
Man, another 3rd command center tap very early. Braddock has played so greedy in all 3 of these games.
Yeah, it's mech. Yeah, it's mech.
I'm
pretty certain at this point it's going to be mech. There we go. He's starting tank production already. So the purpose of his build right now is get the 3rd and just have tanks. Really, 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 really fast tanks. Tanks defend the 3rd base, because tanks defend everything. Tanks are very good at that. And then, get the 3rd going, mech up like a tree. If I'm wrong, I'll buy you all a beer at Home Story Cup, but also I won't.
Little Hellion run by here into the main of ShaDoWn. Not going to get too much done. 3 probe kills, but mostly just kept him back at home, kept him honest, maybe forced him to warp in a couple more units because he was a little bit worried about what was happening. But yeah, yes. Very similar builds, and there it is. Great call, Grant. Another factory coming down, and we're going to see mech again out of Braddock. What is up with this? Mech 2 games against Protoss.
I don't know, but I love it.
Yeah. You know, some people disparage mech, and I gotta say, I gotta put those haters down right away, because I feel like mech can be one of the most strategic and interesting choices in StarCraft 2. It requires so much more. Like, bio is very interesting. Of course, you micro around a little bit. You can hit it multiple places at once, but if you're committing to mech, that means you're telling your opponent, like, hey, my map awareness is unbelievable. My positioning is going to be great. I know these maps so well. I know exactly where to siege up. I know exactly where to create choke points, and I know how to like control sort of the pace of the game from the backseat. I feel like mech is a very interesting, more strategic choice sometimes than bio. And watching it, if you're really into like the strategy and map positioning in the StarCraft 2 game, mech really should be a bit more appealing to you than bio play. So I'm jazzed to see Braddock trying to go for it, and ShaDoWn, of course, responding with that Robo Bay. Yet again, more Colossus out from our French Protoss player.
ShaDoWn still hasn't seen his mech. Okay, I think he'll find out now. Oh no, if he retreats out of this. Okay, sees the 3rd CC. He knows it was mech after a quick free CC in game 1. Is he going to be able to figure this out? And what is he going to do differently is my answer. Is the answers to the questions I'm asking. Oh, I forgot my words. This Prism's been okay. This has still been a pretty okay, safer opening from ShaDoWn. You can see his 3rd is almost done by 6 minutes, so a very well-timed 3rd. He is producing Colossus yet again against mech. which does surprise me to a degree. He should have established this as mech. Like, it's
No, he doesn't know, man. He doesn't know. I don't think he knows. Look, Braddock has been doing an amazing job. I'm going to disagree with you politely, as politely as I can here.
Always.
I don't think he has any idea. Braddock has done a really nice job of rotating his Marines around to drive that Warp Prism away. The Warp Prism has not seen more than one tank until it flies in right now. I don't think ShaDoWn knows about it until now, when he sees the second factory. I think now he knows, but I think, again, before, Braddock was rotating his Marines around very effectively and hiding all of his mech units. He hid some of his Hellions earlier. He only showed one tank in the main base, and that could have still potentially been a bio build. And ShaDoWn lost game number 1 because he didn't respond to the mech quickly enough. Remember, you were saying he needed those Archons out very early, and he simply didn't get those Archons out early enough. And I think here in game number 3, we're seeing a similar response where he's still making Colossi, which don't do that much against tanks because there's no extended thermal lance yet. Grant, I'm really worried here for ShaDoWn.
This push is so ballsy right now. I think he feels like he has to do something before mech gets out of control. And this is an okay start. If you can deny the third for a little while, you can see his third at the other side is mining very, very well. 13 workers already on that bad boy. Extended thermal lance isn't done. Do not go in right now. Oh my god, are you insane? If the course is...
I think he's insane. This is crazy, Grant. Keep calling the fight. Go ahead.
Tank on the high ground doing a lot of damage. Zealots are taking out a lot of these tanks now, and the tank count is actually going down quite a lot. Look at the army supply. It's 53 to 17. Actually great, and I think we were full of shit. I think ShaDoWn has found what he needed to find, because he's doing so much damage.
Yeah, oh, yeah, man, this is a really difficult one here. He's now out of most of his bulk units here, picking off a couple more tanks, which is really nice. But remember, the Terran can turtle much more efficiently than the Protoss player can attack. He's got to slow walk all these units across the map now. He can't reinforce. Tanks picking out of the what is it? We got 4 factories now out for Braddock? 5 factories?
Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5 factories.
Out for Braddock now. He's cranking out a lot of Hellions. The Hellions soaking up a lot of that damage. And while ShaDoWn has done some good work there, pardon me, picked off the third base. Driven the third base back. It's still alive. But I think Braddock has held.
Yeah, Braddock is alive. His +1 tank weapons have just finished as well, meaning that these tanks now are going to really tear through the Zealot line. And you can see that this attack is not going to go any further. What I would like to see, if I'm a really cheeky boy right now, is Braddock, he's doing it. Fly it down to the south location with the 3rd CC. Just go over there. But there is a Zealot. No, the Zealot will miss it. Zealot is just patrolling around to make sure that wasn't there, but he's not going to be there by the time the command center gets there. If you can just drop some mules and get that little bit of extra money, okay, that will be good for Braddock. But ShaDoWn is up 32 supply, and he's adding Archons to his composition. He's getting a 4th Nexus even. Upgrades, he doesn't have any, but +1 is 1/4 of the way done. Immortal production is beginning. It's just 1 Robo. I kind of like double Robo if you're going to play this way. But it's okay right now. As the 4th comes down, I'd expect to see another tech option, because you can afford that.
Yeah, I think ShaDoWn's doing everything correctly here. He's leaving his army out in the middle of the map, which means that Braddock has got to move to this awkward 3rd position here. Braddock wasted a bunch of scans trying to keep a beat on ShaDoWn's army here, and now he's going like full Hellbat. Why is he going Hellbat against Colossus Immortal Archon? What's his thought process here?
I think his thought process here is if the Zealots die in the front, the Colossus cannot push into the tanks. So he's going to try and kite with Hellbats, quite possibly. I'm not 100% sure. Oh my god, look at the 360 surround that our Russian that our French Protoss player is setting up. He's got 3 different angles completely covered with Zealots, with other units. He's hallucinated probes.
This is terrifying. He's moving in here. Zealot's going to get on top of these Hellbats. The Hellbats are all going to get on the south side. There's some Zealot drops onto the tanks, though. The Warp Prism is going to get in here. Oh my god, there's nothing left that shoots upward right now for Braddock. Braddock with no Marines, with no Cyclones. That Warp Prism is going to have a heyday here. 6 more Zealots getting in. The tank line completely broken, and I think Braddock might actually be completely broken here. Game number 3, 18 SCVs going down, and his 3rd base going to be forced to get up and out here. This could be the end. Does ShaDoWn have this, Grant?
I can't see any way now. Army supply 52 to 20, 70 workers to 52. Vehicle weapons +2 is about to come in, but it's not going to be enough because the Protoss upgrade is also just finished. And sure, it's kind of difficult for Protoss to break into the natural right now. He has 4 bases. He doesn't give a flying fudge what's going on in the natural. The main will be almost mined out. You can see, 9 out of 8 workers. There's 16 out of 12 workers on the natural. So our Terran player just isn't mining. He has no income.
Stalkers blinking on top of that tank. Their Hellbats trying to morph in, but the Zealots are already on top of them, and it doesn't matter at this point. The GG goes down, and Braddock